Hey everybody, it's George. So here's a little lesson that we learned, and I'll pass it on to anybody else who's thinking about building up a rental portfolio. We run a couple of different rental portfolios, and some are one is further along than the other in terms of number of properties, etc. And we had a property management group for that one, namely in large part because it's out of state, but also just because we're adding to it and just growing it. Just bought more equipment or more supplies for a project. So the lesson that we learned, and this is what I would pass on to you. It doesn't. If you get a referral from somebody for providing services to your business, in this case we'll use property management as the example. The referral is irrelevant. We took a referral from somebody and we took it as a good referral. I should have done better diligence on them, and I didn't. I looked at it and I said, well, I know the individual, I trust the individual, blah, blah, blah. It's just stupid. Such a rookie mistake to make. We have other people we work with. Even when we get referrals, we don't check them, because we still check them. I don't know why in this case with that one person I didn't check deeper into the history of the property management group, because at the end of the day, I just spent, it is now October, and so we're 10 months into this year, and this is the first month where I'm starting to breathe again over all those properties being managed in that one portfolio, because back 5 months ago, I was ready to sell the whole thing off. Just dump every property. I was so fed up. The management was just a disaster. And we figure over the course of about a year and a half, and I'm going to use round numbers just to make a point, we have stated income losses, probably between $6,000 and $8,000 in stated income being dispersed that was never received. We have charges billed against each property as repairs, 2 properties in particular. And after an inspection back in April of this year, determined that the work was never done that we were charged for. So there's thousands and thousands of dollars there in billed charges for work never done. We have failed maintenance for key mechanicals that I had another one of my contractors take a look at, and they stopped just short of saying that it was probably borderline intentional. Wrong pieces were put in place in maintenance that would fundamentally create a problem that would fundamentally lead to failure of that mechanical. So that was about $16,000 worth of work on just that one part alone. So we started adding it up, and tens of thousands of dollars in losses on just one property alone over the span of time. And so I was just after them and questioning everything and pulling up everything. And, I got to the point where they finally said, hey, I'm tired of having to answer all your questions. It's like, what do you mean you're tired of answering my questions? You're not answering anything. And then they canceled our contract. Now, they canceled the contract and then played games with income withholding, expenses being charged, contracts being charged that were never completed. Just a effing nightmare. And I was ready to just toss the whole thing aside. But then we found, we called around, talked to a few other groups, got recommendations from a few people, followed up on those recommendations, checked into all those referrals, did the way we should have done it the first time. And we have a new group that we're working with who they're fantastic. They're terrific. And they have given me a renewed sense of confidence that it'll be okay. We can get back on the horse and start growing that portfolio again and not have to sell the whole thing off. Because I was ready to. I mean, It's 8 hours away from me, so it's not impossible for me to get to, but it's not something I can just run up to and check on. So yeah, so we're actually now looking at purchasing more property up there. We started looking actually just yesterday. Was ready to put an offer in on our property. So we'll start adding to it again. But I'll tell you, if I can just encourage anybody, you get a referral from somebody, a one-time service, like a plumber or something like that, is you can manage and mitigate the headaches that come with a one-time use. But if you're looking at somebody who's going to be a management partner of yours, a vendor that you're going to defer to ensure the integrity over that line of your business, so that being our rental business in this case, referrals are not good enough. I don't care if it's coming from your family member or your best friend. You still need to do the diligence and check up on it, because if you don't, you're just asking for headaches. And the other thing I would tell you is, don't just take the management agreement, sign it, and assume that it's good standing. Because our management agreement, we had to have an attorney review that after the fact, because what we were quoted as, quote unquote, general policy that's not stated in the management agreement, general policy was used as a means to play games with our money. In short, a colossal headache. The good news is, as somebody said to me, we caught it and stopped the bleeding. The bad news is I did not really figure it out until we were already 10 months into that contract, and it took another 6 months to really put the numbers together to see where it was we were losing. And Lisa and I sat there one afternoon and said, they're telling us there's reported income and we're not seeing the income. And so that was the first chain in the link that came undone. That's what we used to figure everything else out. So yeah, so even if you get referrals, do the diligence. But I strongly encourage, even if you do the diligence and you're thinking about something, don't give up on the plans. I'm glad that I didn't just bail out and walk away from it. As close as I was, my gut ultimately told me not to, and just to figure it out, solve the problem, move on, and get back on the horse and expand that portfolio, and which is what we're doing. So, hope that helps some of you. See ya.